Hey guys, it says that we are live, but I'm just going to double check. It hasn't come through yet on your screen. Oh, now it did. Let me just double check that we can hear all of us, and then we will be good to go. It's got a really big,
Hey guys,
yep, okay. It's got a really big leg today. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Today is, we've like turned these episodes just so we can kind of organize them better. So this is our third time going live with Wednesdays with Ra. And today we are going to talk about the divine feminine energy and the idea of self-worth. And so today comes down to the number 105 with the date and number 6. So 105 is the idea that thoughts and the mindset create the changes in your life. And number 6 is the embodiment of the heart, unconditional love, ability to support yourself, to nurture and heal yourself. It's a warm light and a beacon of hope. And I think it all kind of ties in. So, hey, Maggie.
Hi everyone. It's nice to see you all again on Wednesday. Sorry, we're a few minutes late. It's been a crazy week for us, as I'm sure it has been for most of you. So we're just doing our best to work with the energies, like I'm sure all of you and everyone else in the world is right now. But the divine feminine energy, the energy of the mother, was very strong with us over the last week, and we're, to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what they want to say. I'm not quite sure how they want to say it, but I'm going to give it to Spirit to have them say what is the best thing for us to speak about today, what's best for the energy, what you guys need the most. And we're just kind of going off the cuff here today, or at least I feel like I am.
I feel like I am too. And I was having a conversation with Michael earlier, and I was like, by now, Maggie and I are like told who's usually going to channel with us and like what the topic is and all this stuff. And he's like, well, there's a lot of people that want to channel with you. And he was kind of listing off the beings, but that we think we're supposed to be in this trust movement or this flow of trust. And so we have had so much going on personally with our lives, and even with trying to set this up. I don't know if you guys are aware, but it took me until yesterday to get this live thing set up because for whatever reason, I was being blocked. Every single time I would try to set up our live stream, I was being blocked. Today, when Maggie and I were trying to get things situated and have our talks and discuss exactly how things are going to go, we would be losing internet all the time. So it's been a very interesting week. And I think what we were guided to say is that we know we have beings lined up who want to talk. We're not exactly sure what they want to talk about, but we are going to trust and we'll go from there. So I think if you're ready, Maggie, maybe the first thing we should do is all connect in, unless there's something else you wanted to say.
No, I think connection would be great. I know Mercury has been retrograde. I don't know if it still is. I'm not a super astrology person, but I think that might explain some of the connection things. So I think it's best for us to solidify our energies and get everybody nice and grounded and heart centered and kind of tune out the distraction just for this moment in time.
Yep. And remember, if you're with us anytime, anywhere, any now, just put your hands up, put your feet on the floor so we can ground in and we can all connect. Take some deep breaths with your belly. We've talked about this a bit before, but it's very important that you actually move your belly when you're breathing in, deep breaths, and then push that air out.
Oh, MUT is here. Would you mind if I brought her through to guide everyone through? I think she wants to guide us through a bit of a meditation.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Greetings, my children. My name is MUT. You have known me as a goddess of justice, a goddess of balance, a goddess of all things fair and right. I am here to allow you to let go for this moment. I am here to balance your energies. The energies on your planet are so volatile, spiking here, dropping here. You are being pushed and pulled by a tumultuous current right now. Surrender your energy for a moment. I will balance the poles within you. The masculine within you is crying out. The feminine within you is crying out. The voids and the excesses in each of these places are being balanced in this dance of push and pull right now. Allow me to come in and calm the waters of your fields just for this moment, so that you may rest a bit easier for the rest of the day, that you may be a bit more balanced for the rest of the day, that you may be a bit more in your hearts for the rest of the day, that you may feel a bit more yourselves, at home and at peace within yourselves. Please make the intention to receive this energy, should it be your intention to receive it. All things in your matrix are done through free will. All things are a collaboration, a co-creation of energies at all times. So if you are interested in this balancing, please do join your energy with mine so we can create this peace, this space of peace inside of you as a collective group and within you as the individuals as you are, sitting with me now, whether it be in this present moment in time or sometime in the future, or other cases, maybe even the past. La'aka, la'aka, lahuya akata, la'okola, ala'uho ahal khana, la'aka uluhuha, la'hala, mukule ala kuti la'akalana, akalana ala akata akata, lakatika ala kata nakata nakata kata ko unuk nakata, angka naka angka, angkata nakantanka. Lanka anka lakanta ka akala kaka laka 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 laka. If there is anything feeling discordant in your field, any energies feeling anxious, frustrated, unbalanced, nervous, please make the intention at this time to let them go. I feel it in this group. Let them go. Tell them it is safe for you to go now. I will collect them and transmute them for you. Anka lakasa laka, laka laka laasa kalaasa, anto oka la anasa, la anda asuruhu, lankasi asuhu yo oko, matu unuko e akala uku alakana, tuku tala ukulo o moroho. Laka ono roho malaka. Sankisaya satila la uku lo moso lo hono lohala. La hala I ama sali isaya sati. No holo isa asa. Misti isi anasu. Luhulu unu usuku. La satu unu ala asala asakati. Lantulu uno asala amalayala. Do you have any language to add, Temple? I am finished with my energy.
I do. No sakata sha'ala tiakopo ni sikikiata hasana rata umoko tapasokono nalaata kikiapo hoshoko oma mala iatasa masata inu o bo o sotopoko shotono sotopokikiatata ni sakata po shotoko kona satapa kutu posoko poto naka moshoko poto sotolo okononia poto biasatata anakala ata oso kosho shono nahala sata poshoto namaka apa I ni I tata an o shoko pa kala huana ni so posho kita kala sata bokosho kono moto dia sanana ikiki kulomo mata hialo pojojaka da sana poshoto nakamanata niasaku luku ono mogiata makana posoto dashatato sono nonodo pokoloto soko talea motoko mata sala kiata shakaneato bosukono tolo shoto mahana I tata mana so lo nota mabata ia samasha na lana yato como osho to pojukoto monia mola apodo soto shikikono nasa kala osho kiapoto tasanati ashaka Alahana nasa pusho totokono. Namaste. Namaste. I'm finished. Wow. Let me choose the view. Okay, so thank you guys for coming. And if there's anything that you're going through or have any questions that you guys want to ask, feel free to put those in the chat and we will address them. And I'm not sure where we want to go from here. Do you have any ideas, Maggie? Are you getting any?
1 second. I feel like it's best probably if I just channel, because I don't know how you guys are feeling, but Temple and I have been talking about this week a lot. We channel Ra a lot, and he talks a lot about his ideas about self-worth, and we heard a lot about self-worth from Ra last week, or self-worth from Michael Jackson, and these are masculine figures, and their words of wisdom and advice were amazing, but that expression, the masculine expression, is just one side of, the collective and one side of our own energies. People, we each have a masculine and a feminine side. And I've been getting a lot of downloads about the expression, the integration, the holding of the energy of self-worth from the side of the feminine. And it is a bit different than how the masculine expresses it, or how the masculine understands it. The masculine energy, that is, that's not to say like man or woman. It's just a difference in the way the energy is perceived and expressed. And if I'm completely honest with you, I think that so much of the ways that we are taught to do self-help or self-worth work, it does because we live in a society that is patriarchal. It is all about expression. It is all about doing. You have to do these things in order to get the things that you want. Doing is a masculine expression, and the feminine is more of a holding space, a feeling space. And we don't hear a lot about how it means to accomplish these senses or come into these senses through just the body of feeling, having nothing to do with having to do something or having to express something or having to move something around to get there. So it's something that I'm just starting to understand now. So for me, I think it would be best if I would just channel it through a being who knows more about it than me, because I'm still learning too, unless you have something that you understand better than me, or that you can put into better words than me, Temple.
I don't think I could put it into better words, because I'm still learning this too. And one of the things that I find so interesting about us is that you are so much more feeling, I think, than I am. Although I do feel, but it's in a very, how do I want to say this? I think you allow more than I do. Like, I'll feel, but sometimes I don't quite allow the entirety of the feeling, if that makes sense. And so with what we've been going through this week, including various updates and energy work, and actually I was nervous that I was gonna have to come out and be like, okay, guys, so I talk about like how I have these upgrades and things a lot, and now you're gonna be able to see like my face, which was completely almost like chemical. It looked like a chemical burn. Now it wasn't. It was new energies coming in, and a massive update where they were taking the old stagnant energies of my body out through my skin, and thank goodness it finally dissipated, but it's been really red for the last couple days, and it's just been really interesting following this and how our updates, as far as we understand, because we're constantly learning as we go through this, because although we know, although we've been versed a little bit in the divine feminine, I think it's the true divine feminine energy, at least that I'm learning about, is very different from what we're taught. And so, because this is so new, I think it's better to just let the beings talk about it, because I don't think we can fully understand it in a way that we can bring it through from our own personal experiences yet, because this week has been chock full of personal experiences. And so, yeah, I think that's a really great idea. Do you have anybody who wants to come through, or do you? Let me just check in to see who's around here. Do you have someone? Because I was.
My
I got,
aunt is still here, and she would want to talk, but I have a feeling there's someone with you too, and they're like, I don't know which one of us is supposed to do it.
I don't know. I think it's Hathor. I think Hathor is here, but I don't. I don't know much about. I don't know much about. I mean, I know a little bit about Hathor and like the toning and stuff like that. I was just like, is it Hathor? And they're like, yeah. But I also feel like MUT was here too, on your side. So I don't know, like MUT and MOT, I can see where those can be kind of confusing. So what are you feeling?
I'm wondering if we are supposed to channel or we are supposed to have a conscious conversation with these women and bring through what they're saying. Because there's so many of them, I don't want to lose anything in channeling just one. However, I don't want to muddy their messages either by filtering it through the lens of my own biases and stuff like that. But what do you think?
Right. Yeah, we can definitely do that. This is what we were talking about, you guys, when you're like, well, you guys are gonna have to lead because we have no idea what we're doing today. So
okay,
so, yeah.
I think that who is it? Moot wants to come through to say something quick, and she's saying, I will give you guys something. What she's going to say is going to be something that we can discuss off of, and if anyone has questions about these energies in their lives or where this applies for them, please put them in the chat and please ask, because we have a lot of ladies with us tonight who are bringing in some, I think, new ideas about what it means to be a feminine in this time of ascension, and what the new facets of strength of the feminine energy that aren't often spoken about, or at least not to my knowledge, because I haven't heard this in other people's teachings before. It's just been things that they've been telling me and they've been telling Temple over the last few weeks.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to begin.
Okay. Greetings, my children. My name is MUT. I was once known on your planet as the Great Mother. I was a great force of the energy of what you now call the Divine Feminine, but I have only ever known it as the energy of the Mother. This is who I am. This is in many ways what the energy of the Divine Feminine is. The energy of the Great Mother, the energy of the Mother who is Gaia. All the feminine is connected to these things and draws its power from these places. I know that my daughters are here speaking today about the energy of self-worth. To someone like me, the idea of self-worth or not self-worth is puzzling. But again, it has been a long time since my influence was on your planet. The idea of the mother, of the feminine, not having a worth in the self is something I am just now coming to understand how it was taken away. I am sorry for my daughters here today that it has been taken away from you. I have come here in this short time to help you to understand what a strength of this divine feminine energy means to me. What having a great worth in this energy means from my understanding as a long ago progeny, mother, those are opposite words, as a progenitor maybe of this energy on your earth long ago. The masculine energy is an energy of expression, an energy of doing. It draws its value, its worth from what it does in the world. The physical expression of the masculine pole in everything is an electric energy. Electricity shows its power by traveling, by doing, by going here to here to here, sparking. This is how it gains its momentum, how it feels the fire within. The feminine energy, in the reality of the polarity of everything that is feminine, is a magnetic energy. It does not do, it magnetizes. It is within itself a magnetic force. It does not go out to accomplish, it draws to itself. In terms of self-worth, as you understand it, as I am learning to understand it from a human perspective, what is missing here is that humans are often too dependent on doing to feel a worth within themselves. If I accomplish this, I will feel worthy. Other people will see me as accomplished. They will see that I can do this or that. And because of this praise, or because of having done this difficult action, I will feel good because I can see the progress that my action has made in the world. This can certainly bring you a great feeling of worth, but it is only half of the puzzle. If you are only doing, looking for all of your feeling of worthiness from what you can accomplish, you will always be tired. Because the feeling of worthiness comes with the next doing that you must do. You must keep doing to keep up the momentum of this feeling within yourself. What so many of you are missing is the energy of who you are within yourselves. And I understand this is an abstract concept. But who are you just sitting in your room right now? Who are you being in the silence of yourself, without having to do, without having to distract yourself, without having to plan the next accomplishment? Who are you in that space? It pains me to say, and it pains me to see, that many of you do not have a sense of the self outside of the external doing. Can you feel happy just sitting on the grass outside? Do you know who you are to Mother Earth? Do you know who you are to Father Sky? Do you know who you are to the water and the air? Do you know who you are as they know who they are? The water does not have to do. It is water. You see it and you know. When people see you, do they know who you are? Or do they only know you by what you do? I would like for you to become comfortable with who you are in the silence of not doing, in the stillness, in this peace, to be in enjoyment with yourselves, to be in love with yourselves, to know more of the pieces that make you you. There is so much depth to all of you that has gone undiscovered because you are so busy worrying about the next thing to do. It goes so much deeper within each of you, my children. So many lives that you had before this one, so many energies that you were gifted at your birth, so many talents and ways and beauty that is within you, just existing, just being the person that you are, not having to prove yourself to anyone. I invite you to stop defining yourself in this way and start trying to define yourself as you. Maggie, who are you if you are not channeling me right now? Who are you if you are not sitting beside Temple? Who are you if you are not trying to help those who ask for your help? Are you not equally as worthy if you don't do those things? Of course you are. In the eyes of God, in the eyes of Gaia, you have to do nothing to be worthy of love, to be worthy of happiness in who you are. Get to know who you are. Sit in silence with yourself. Become happy in this place. Interview yourself. Get real with yourself. Ask yourself, what really makes me happy? What would I do? What would I think? How would I be if nobody was watching me? What energies are flowing within me? What thoughts are going through my mind? What love beats in my heart? Again, I say these are abstract concepts because humans are not taught that there is any value in sitting in stillness and peace. In fact, you are taught that this is laziness. It keeps you on the hamster wheel, my children. It keeps you tired because it keeps you doing, and enough is never enough. Learn how to be enough in the stillness of yourself. I say it again. And once you do, once you truly know yourself, once you can sit with every part of yourself, the things that you feel are good, and also sit with the things that you feel are not so wonderful, and you can integrate those energies and love them all, you will create even greater things when you choose to act. And you will only choose to act out of love for yourself, not out of love to be someone in anyone else's eyes. You will become so much more selective in how you spend your energy in the world. Not everyone is worthy of your energy. Do not go around trying to prove yourself to everyone. They do not deserve it. The only person that you need to make happy is yourself. Do not be selfish, of course, but do not think that love will only come to you if you are performing. Stop performing like monkeys. This is not what you were meant for. This is not the love that God has for you. This is not the love that Gaia has for you. This is not the love that I have for you. I do not know how practically applicable or helpful this message is. It is nevertheless the truth. It may seem abstract. However, these things are necessary. I want to see my children out of this rat race, off of this hamster wheel, knowing who they are. It is only when you know who you are that you will take action in the world that makes you happy, that you will live a life where you are energized and not tired, when you are acting from the core of yourself, the feelings, following the flow of your own energy, acting out of that place of stillness and not acting for an external motivation. I hope that this makes sense. Do you, Temple, or are there any questions?
There are no questions that we have right now. Does anybody have a question that they would like to put in the chat? I'm not seeing any questions right now. Thank you so much, Mother, for coming.
That is all right. I am happy to connect with you and connect with the collective in this way. I'm with you and I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
Lovely. John said, trying to impress others and being entertainment for others will never work. Impress and entertain yourself. That is where happiness is. And that is exactly what she had spoke about earlier. So very true. It's very
Exactly.
true.
You're on the right track.
Yep. And I was having a conversation with Hathor, or it wasn't really a conversation. She was just giving me her thoughts during this. And she was talking about how enjoyment in expressing yourself is, let me see if she'll talk, because I don't want to get her words messed up. Hello, my children. I am Hathor. What I was talking to Temple about was the concept of expressing yourself. When you express yourself with words, you are expressing yourself with vocalization. You are expressing yourself with vibration. You are expressing yourself with energies. And what many of us don't understand is that the energies of vocal expression not only affect you, but affect those around you. So when you are solid within yourself, when you are comfortable with who you are, even if you don't fit into society, you can think about what you say before you say it. And your thoughts turn into words, and your words turn into vibrations. And those vibrations can help heal you and can help heal the collective. For when you talk through your mouth, saying words that have low vibration or saying words that are not in tune with who you really are, do not think that these words come out and are received within the way in which you want them to be, or pretend them to be, or entertain them to be. Humans in this dimension right now, many just hear the words but many others who are in tune with what waves of energy can do hear much more than the physical words. And so, my children, the gift I wanted to give you tonight is to speak with truth, speak with empowerment, but do it in a way in which not just empowers you, but empowers those around you. For there is no one that can be as selfish to just empower themselves. Because in the end, when your truth is weighed, your heart will tell the story of who you really were. And wouldn't you want to be what you truly feel you are? Wouldn't you want to use the vibrations of your energy and the vibrations of song and the vibrations of love and the vibrations of harmony? Wouldn't you want to use all of those feelings and those expressions in a way in which lifts you up, but also lifts up the entire community and the entire collective around you? Yes, my children, make sure that you are happy, but do it in a way in which you can share your light positively with those around you. Listen to what others have to say. You don't have to agree with them, but you do not have to fight with them. For words carry much more than the human collective understands at this moment. Feelings carry much more than the human collective understands at this moment. So why would you want to continuously put on yourself the feeling of not being good enough, or the feeling of having to constantly be someone else than who you truly are? Can't you see, my children, that this way of living, this way of being only hurts you and only hurts those around you? So please choose to follow who you are, to feel secure in who you are. And please understand that we want you to be who you are, to love who you are, to love those around you. But it does not mean to put others lower than yourself. It does not mean to throw energies around as if they are nothing. It does not mean any of these things. And the purest love that exists is in the feelings of truth, honesty, and love. And so I leave you with this, my children. To understand your self-worth is to understand what it means to feel. Many of us have lost the concept and the knowing and the understanding of true feelings. We don't know where they come from. We don't know how to process them. And this is part of the lost pieces of the Divine Mother. You need to become comfortable with allowing yourself to feel. You need to become comfortable with allowing yourself to love. And you need to become comfortable with saying, this is not who I am, but you can be this way. I still love you. I will be who I am, and I will shine bright. And you will be who you are, and you will shine bright. And we won't subject ourselves to fitting into these boxes that were made for us, because we know that we are all divine. And we know that boxes cannot hold truth. They cannot hold love. They cannot hold true self-worth and true knowing. They cannot hold it when your light shines so bright. You cannot be put into a box. So please, my children, ask yourself, who am I? What do I love? What do I feel? What do I know? These will lead you to grow in your self-worth, but only if you are willing to have an open mind and to accept pieces of you that have been hidden for so long, that have been dampened for so long. It is time now, my children. It is time to allow the Divine Mother, to allow that spark within you to rise up again, to properly instill those feelings and that love and that nurturing. For if you do not nurture yourself, how can you nurture others? And with that, I shall leave, unless there are any questions.
Yes, this is very relevant to what you are speaking about, Hathor. Thank you for your beautiful message. Devin says, I don't think I know who I really am. Can you speak to that?
Yes, my child. It is understandable. It is not the fault of yourself. It is not something you should blame yourself for. This is how this society is programmed. And so you, like many, do not know the true you. And it is not something that should be shameful. Please do not think of it as shameful. Think of it as recognizing and stepping out of that box. Once you step out of that box, Devin, and you say, I don't know who I am, but I am open to feeling. I am open to understanding. Divine Mother, Divine Father, please help me. Please help me feel. Please help me know. Please help me. Devin, if you allow your heart to shine, if you can turn off the programming, turn off the TV, turn off the cell phone, turn off all of the waves that are coming at you constantly. Give yourself a break. Give your body a break. Give your brain a break. Retreat to nature. Retreat, retreat, everyone. Listen to your heart and retreat. This is a time where you are going to start opening up to the full understanding of your divine self. But it cannot be done, my dear children. It cannot be done when everything is being thrown at you. When all these waves and all these vibrations specifically calculated and thrown at you in a way to allow the growth of your being, of your soul, of your spark, of your divineness to be stunted. The first step would be to recognize and allow, turn off those waves, start going to nature and singing, just sing whatever comes. those vibrations of song, of humming, those will help open the heart. The use of song, of vibration, is something that is only now being studied. That it can be of great service, pure service. And the best way to allow it to integrate with you, to allow it to flow through you, is to not be nervous, not shut it off because others aren't doing it. Find a place where you can be you, where you can be secluded in nature. Open your mouth, put your hand on your heart, and see what comes out of your mouth. Pay attention to the noises that come out of your mouth. When Temple was first learning about this, learning about toning and learning about how her speech carries vibration, she would often walk around the house and she would bang her chest like this, and she would allow herself to become comfortable in uttering whatever came out. And eventually, beautiful tones came out. And those tones were able to overpower some of the darker, denser energy to be replaced. And you all have this ability to do so. As long as you feel it from the heart, as long as you step out on a limb and allow yourself to do something that you may never have thought of before. Song and vibration and toning can help heal. Nature can help heal. Shutting off appliances can help heal. Sitting with yourself in candlelight can help heal. Meditation can help heal. Asking yourself, what do I enjoy? What do I feel like when I am out at the grocery store? And what do I feel like when I am confronted about not having the most optimal body or not having the most fashionable clothing? What does that make me feel? Why am I feeling this? Should I be feeling this? Do I really care about this? Who taught me how to feel this way? And you slowly take back your power, Devin. All of my children, you can do this. The Great Mother, all the Divine Feminine, Father, we are all here to help you. And one of the most important pieces of this puzzle is to learn to accept what is flowing through you and not shove it away, because those are important pieces to your puzzle. They are important pieces to your self-worth. So rejoice. Play wonderful, happy music. Allow your voice to sing. Allow your true self to come and heal you. You have the ability within your human body. You are energy. You are love. You are the divine spark of God. You are you. So why fit into a box of somebody else? And now that you know that you, Devin, are climbing out of that box, and you are taking initiative and taking charge of you, because deep down inside, there is a spark. If you sit with yourself You will feel it. Silence can be a true gift, for it can reveal so much that is purposely hidden, that is purposely kept under and tied up. Silence can heal. Music can heal. Love can heal. Only if underlying it all is truth. You need the flame of truth underneath all of this in order for self-worth to be loved and acknowledged and implemented and integrated. I hope this has been helpful.
Thank you so much, Hathor. That was beautiful.
Are there any other questions?
There are not. However, as you were finishing speaking, I was guided, I think, from the feminine collective that we could perhaps do the service for those of us who are tapped in with our energy today to help give them some codes or give them an activation in the flame of truth that you're talking about so they may connect with themselves even better how you're speaking about.
This would bring me much happiness.
Thank you so much.
Suto shokotayasa. Nongoka tiata kuloko tia posononto tiakia. Nana ioto soto diolo jonoko. Ia monania sanaka. O ni no ko. No sola dia shokoto te apea sana tia to shokoto to kotia pototo neskat tia to koloko tania sata boshoto kono na yala hana maka ata sata bono soto tia pokoshona nia sakoloshona hasanata poko nakialata no bojonakata moi 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 sapoto shokonota Pashata pa osho, mokolabia, kanetia shukata, motopo shukoto, hokoto shukata, yakata, na, la, monia, sotopo shukoto, shotataya, I, don, blik, washat. Please join me in an om. Om. Again. Om. One more time. Om. Up, kneel, like, up. darling daughter, please add your codes to this.
Yes, Mother, thank you. Uhuru huia sasi no ye asu ui unu ia luhuru huru 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 ala lie ala musu susiaya Laya sumalaha ha ha la ha ha la lanu musia halu luhiti ha hiti hati muruhi asihi huruhu 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 neahu luruhu. Thank you.
Thank you, my daughter.
That was awesome, Temple. Thank you. The
It's a very
screen
good-
is on YouTube is not the dual screen.
It will change. It's a
Oh.
very slow lag today. I gotta wait, my tears of happiness.
That was beautiful. Hathor's message was beautiful. I like how I had never toned in front of anyone before. I do not have a nice singing voice, so that was very much outside of my own comfort zone to be like, didn't even really count as toning, but I did it. So it felt nice to do what Hathor had asked and to be comfortable in that way. It felt nice.
I think that's something we should do more because I am with you in that. I do a lot of toning around home. I do a lot of toning in the shower. I do all kinds of like weird toning in like the vocal cords where like you hold a thing, but you have something else going in the lower register, the vocal cords. But I have never really felt comfortable doing it here for everybody. I've never even done it in front of you. So in the future, maybe we can call her in and work with her. And as I become more comfortable in things, as we're continuing to step out of our comfort zones, we can do some pretty cool toning and stuff. Because I think that's so important. And I know that even in my personal experiences, when I am having tough times or feelings that I'm working through, just taking a shower and toning through the whole shower with the water coming in and the water being able to carry codes and the toning being able to carry codes and vibration and everything just kind of washing over you. It has really helped me as a tool for working through things and kind of taking that cleansing,
Same. And it's so funny because I think that I know Temple really well and we know everything about each other, but I do the exact same thing in the shower. I just tone the whole time with the water, and it's the only place I feel comfortable doing it. But I do find that it's a very cleansing thing to do it in the shower, particularly. And you don't have to care about anyone listening or, sounding any certain way. But you'll be surprised, like, I didn't think that I could do certain tones, but then when I'm in the shower, all of these sounds that I didn't think that I could make come out.
Mm-hmm. And I would love to, like, as things kind of start opening up and we're able to travel again, you and I, we go to these like caves and we're able to like do some cool stuff in there. We have this place by us and I can never remember what it's called. It's sort of a hidden place because it's kind of dangerous if you don't know a lot about rock climbing or caves, or if you don't know a lot about the fauna around. There's lots of like poison ivy and stuff, but this little hidden away place we go to every once in a while, and it is filled with natural caves, and you get to climb on these massive rocks, and the plants, the leaves themselves are so large. It just seems kind of like a place within time. And I'll when you come visit, we'll have to go over there. It's so, and the energy of it is so beautiful and so ancient. And it's really hard when you go to realize you have to leave because you just want to stay there. I'm like, I'm just going to build a little home in this cave. It's going to be great.
I can't wait. That sounds amazing. I'm sure there's stuff like that around here, but I don't know about it.
Yeah. Her energy is really strong, but it's also a very, like, I felt like she was very serious today, but what she left me with was like an overall energy of she likes to like she knows what it's like to be happy and have good times. You know what I mean? So like she's really got me all like jazzed up. I'm ready to like, I don't know. I'm just
She was really excited to be channeling through you. She was so excited to talk about music and feeling good within yourself. You could really feel that energy coming through.
wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. There was another one where like so for those of you who are just joining us, I'm learning to channel. And so while I'm able to channel, I still find certain aspects of it very interesting. Like, what does the being leave you with? What does the being feel like when the energy of the being is inside you? Like, those things are very, very much of interest to me. And I like to kind of pick those apart, even though, you know, sometimes we shouldn't, but it's all in the learning. I feel like by better understanding what's happening around me, this is also the feelings portion of it, I can better understand myself. And so I think that's kind of where it comes from, because then I know when the energies are around. And one of the things that Maggie and I are constantly learning is how to tell who is all around. Who, I mean, you know, you can't see who's all hanging out with Maggie and I right now, but we can feel them. And in our classes, sometimes we have to say, okay, so and so, we think so and so is here, we think so and so is here, we think, you know, and we can have like 7 to 10 people that we have to like stop and focus in that moment. And I guess the reason I'm bringing this all up is all about feeling and knowing of self, because once you feel and know yourself, it's easier to determine the energies around you. And so to be in that moment with yourself and know that you are solid within yourself enough so that you can allow yourself to feel other beings that are around you, and what does their energy feel like, and what are they saying with their energy, and having each being kind of step forward. We don't always get them right. Like, most of the time we get them right. Every once in a while we still get them wrong. And then sometimes, like, I personally just start shouting out names because I get so frustrated that like, tell me who it is. So yes. So do we have any, how are we doing on time? How are we doing?
We're at 8:10 now. I don't see. Well, thank you so much for your nice comments, everyone. It's really nice of you to say that. I don't see any other questions, but it feels nice to hear you guys say nice things about what we're doing, because, you know, we're just people too, even though we're doing this like on a live like this, you know. I can't speak for Temple, but for myself, I get nervous before I have to channel every time. And I was certainly nervous going into the toning. Like, these aren't things that it's like breathing for me, that it's necessarily very comfortable, but the practice of doing it over and over again and kind of pushing against those walls of discomfort when they come up, you know, little by little, you do get into the space where you're more comfortable with yourself. And it helps when we all support each other, you know, when we see someone else doing something well, or, you know, we know that they're trying, at least, that we get the affirmation. I know that it should come from within, but there's so much that we can do to help build that feeling within each other and within ourselves. And even, you know, you're helping me with that right now, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to add, I'm not sure, I don't think this was my own thought, so I'm not quite sure where this came from, but Oh, Hathor is just like, that was my thought. So what she was saying was that when you are in a situation where you feel like, when you're in a situation where you feel lack or you feel want or you feel jealousy of somebody else, think about how you would want to be treated, because this deals with the feelings, and this deals with how you choose your words to come out. So remember what, I don't know if you can hear that. Remember, what gets sent out does come back to you. And so I think that is an important lesson in, they always say think before you speak, but maybe it should be feel before you speak. That was actually brilliant. I never thought about that before, but thank you. Thank you, Hathor. So yeah, so feel before you speak and put yourself in that situation. It's always hard, they say, well, you can't really judge until you've been in people's shoes, but if you're not judging, just think about how you would like to be on the reciprocating end if that was you, how it would hurt you or how you would feel. And so you want to do your best to just love everybody. I could see Michael being like, love, it's all about love.
And you're totally right. And, everybody knows, about karma, and what you give out comes back. And it's really, really true, especially if you do it just out of the goodness of your heart, it comes back to you 10 times. And it's easy.
Oh, go ahead.
Everybody knows that.
She was showing me, I think this is actually really pertinent. So she was showing me, the Grinch movies, like the cartoon or the movie, the Jim Carrey one. Apparently there is this section in there, or she's showing it to me. I don't think I've actually ever seen it, so I don't, but she's showing to me where this heart was very, very small and it grew really big. She said that this is where many of our hearts are right now in our current society. It's the very small, like, there's a heart, Grinchy heart. And it's not that we're Grinches, but she said that over the millennia of energies that have been thrown at the human collective, and that the human collective has been taught to embrace, what those energies have done is they have taken something that used to be gigantic and really made it. And so she's saying by whatever, I don't remember what she was all talking about, but whatever she was talking about, those things will help it grow back to the size that it once was. So.
Oh, I love that. What a great
what a great analogy. Yeah. So this has become the staple of my week. It's helping me immensely. Thank you, Devin says. Oh, I just don't like that. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you so much for that compliment. That means a lot. Because today, we've talked about this a little bit, but every day I would message Maggie and I would be like, should we really, do you really want to do it this week? Like, I know we're both exhausted and so much is happening, and then the next day, I'd be like, well, I don't think I think there's resistance against it, which means we definitely have to do it, because that means it's really important that we do it, and that we need to work through it, and together, we can lean on each other, and so I'm really glad that, we stuck to our feelings of how important this is, to be able to bring our experiences forward and bring different thought processes of the beings it's been mostly Egyptian beings, and I guess Michael would still be Egyptian. So, but we do converse a lot with the Egyptian realm.
How do you categorize Michael as Egyptian?
He's had a lot of Egyptian lives.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He This is really funny, because I was just, for those of you who don't know, I am working on a manuscript right now, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but it's massive. It's in a work in progress, but I was reading through things today. And when I had first met him, he had come in and I was like, so how are you, like, how does this all work? What's the deal? Like, how does this relate to like Ramses? And he's like, well, he's like, I was a fractal in Ramses at the time to sort of even him out, is what he told me. And I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of makes sense. So yeah, and then in other Egyptian lives as well, we've talked about a few of them. Things that aren't really on the record yet aren't on like the human historical record. But yeah, he spent a lot of time, like we all did, he spent a lot of time in Egypt. So
Oh wow. I don't think that I ever talked to you about that before. That's so fascinating.
I mean, like the thing with Maggie and I is we have so much work that has to get done when we get together that some of these things like toning and like stories and stuff kind of always get put to the side. But yeah,
We're always trying to put some puzzle together every time we talk.
Exactly. So should we close out tonight? We are at 70 minutes, so we're a little over an hour. I know we normally go 2 hours, unless I'm more than happy to go longer if you feel up to it and if there's other beings wanting to come through and talk.
I think Ra is here and he is saying that the first week that he came through, he did not get to answer everyone's questions. So if anyone has any questions at the end, he will come through to answer them. But barring that, he doesn't really fall into the category of self-worth and the divine feminine. However, being Ra, he does want to make an appearance should anybody want to talk to him.
Yes. That's so thoughtful of him. That's so sweet. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Father.
Yeah.
So I want to support my girls. Yeah, so if you guys have questions for Ra, did he give specifics of like the topic, or is he willing to take random questions? I think it would just be good to preface it before we just throw out there that
he's saying like I don't know if you guys know this about Ra when you've heard him channel before, but he is very kind of down to business guy. So he has general kind of parameters that he likes when it comes to answering questions. If it's something that's relevant to your life now, like an issue that you are facing or some energy that you would like to help move you along where you are in your current life. But at this point, because we are experiencing so many energies, the ascension is getting so intense, he considers it extraneous to focus his energies on things like past lives connections. For the most part, of course, there is relevance there, of course, but just little here and there questions like that. He doesn't, it's not really his wheelhouse right now. He's not enthusiastic about answering those kind of questions.
I think if you would say, I have this feeling come up. I know it's from this past experience, but I'm like having issues. So like if you've done the work, he's probably more willing to help you with it than just saying, hey, like what's this connection? And let me tell you, like he is a very loving being, a loving father, but like Maggie said, he is down to business. And even when we have asked about past life connections, remember, he's like, that's not important right now, girl.
I know, he slapped us on the wrist about it.
So it's not just you guys.
It's just Ra.
No, it's just Ra. Yeah. All right.
If there's nothing, then that's fine. He was just wanting to offer himself.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you can always put your question in the chat. Like, we don't want to scare you away. Like, that's the last thing we want to do is make Ra sound scary. So put your question in the chat, and like, if we feel like he won't answer it or we know he won't answer it, that's one thing. But
he's not going to be a jerk about it. It's just when you're coming with questions or forming your questions, he would like for you to do it with the idea of making progress within yourself in mind, with the idea of inner growth in mind. That's all. It's not like he's going to be mean.
Right. And another interesting thing, and this goes for all beings, but like Ra touched on this last night again when we were talking with him. He mentioned how important it was to be careful how you ask your questions, because he can only give you the information related to the question.
Yes, exactly.
So when you guys have questions, and we should maybe talk about this at some point, Maggie and I have gotten really good about how to phrase the question so the beings know, like, so you can get the answer that you want.
You're good at it.
Sometimes it's like you want this answer, but you're not quite sure how to phrase the question, and then they answer it for you, and you're like, that has nothing to do with what I was talking about. So Devin says, are there any insights on the upcoming lunar eclipse and how to best navigate the energy? Oh, because we have I bet you could talk on that. We have a lunar eclipse coming and a solar eclipse coming, don't we?
Yes, they're within a few weeks of each other, I think.
Yes, they're very close to each other. So I think he would be more than willing to probably talk on the energies of that, because that is kind of important right now that they're happening very close to each other.
Okay, any insights on the upcoming?
Jen, thanks for joining.
Okay. All right, let me bring him through. I feel like he's like, sounds like Grindel tonight. I feel like he's half, I don't know. I hear Grindel's voice in my head. It's weird.
It'd be weird if Grindel comes in, he's like, today I'm going to talk about the divine feminine. I think you have the wrong channel, Grindel. I don't think this.
All right. Let me bring him in. Maybe like we can do, well, if this is the only question, that's fine, but we'll do like 20 minutes, 25 minutes with him or something.
Sure. Yep. So for those of you that just came in, Jen, if you have any questions for Rob, please feel free to write them down. He's going to take a few questions. I'll just be honest if it's not his cup of tea and he won't answer it, but if it's related to energy or how you're currently working through things, feel free to write it in the chat below. And of course, because it's all about today is the divine feminine and self-worth, but questions like that would be great too. But this whole eclipse, I think, kind of relates to the divine feminine energy, maybe. So we'll see.
Greetings, I am Ra.
Thank you, Father, for coming.
It is my pleasure.
Are you willing to take some questions?
Absolutely. That is why I have come through tonight. The last time I spoke to answer questions, I have remembered that there were those who had questions unanswered. And since you have finished with what you were doing with the feminines a bit earlier than usual this evening, I thought I would take this opportunity to tie up those loose ends should they be here tonight.
Perfect. We have some really good questions coming in. Devin is wondering about if you have any insights on the upcoming lunar eclipse and how to best navigate the energy. Now, I think it might be appropriate to also talk about the solar eclipse, because I think we are having a solar eclipse coming as well, pretty close to each other. So feel free to enlighten us, dear Father.
I must first talk about the lunar eclipse. For what will be revealed and what will come to light during the solar eclipse is dependent upon how the energies of the lunar eclipse end up moving. Many of you will feel irritated, agitated, irritable, frustrated, discombobulated, chaotic, confused, overwhelmed at this time. This is because the lunar eclipse is coming up. as the moon is eclipsed, as the energies are working in this way to shade her out completely, so many emotions are coming to the surface, so many prickly, discordant emotions. And at the time of the eclipse, this discordancy will be at its high. Allow the emotions to do what they are doing. Do not think that there is anything wrong with what you are doing. The emotions will only get higher leading up until this date. On this date, please set the intention to allow them to be released. This is a unique time in the year where you can reset yourself in a way, in the emotional body, in the body of the feeling. And the things that do not match, the things that are discordant, as I have said, are coming up right now to be released, to be transmuted, to be rebalanced into this body of your emotions in a reset. And the sun will do quite a different thing in its eclipse. However, we need to see what happens with the lunar eclipse first. I will have a lot to say about the solar eclipse when that time comes, but let's get past the first one first. Is that clear enough?
That is clear. If anybody needs more insight, just put that in the chat and we'll revisit that in a second. But it looks like it looks very clear. Thank you, Father.
You are welcome.
All right, so we have a question from Jen, and Jen was wondering about healings on her body. She said, my feminine and sacral areas, bladder, and all of that. If you have any input for her regarding those areas, or maybe how she can also use that with the upcoming eclipse.
Is this all part of the same question? How to use it with the eclipse?
No, these are two different questions, sorry.
Oh, I see. All right, let me tap in. Jen, is this the correct name?
For Jen.
Okay.
Yep. And then, so she wants to know about if there's anything you can tell her about the healing of her body. She is having problems with the feminine and sacral areas and the bladder.
So many women are having issues in their sacral right now. The feminine energies of the planet are balancing in such a way where, let me start here. The sacral chakra of the feminine collective has been in a great imbalance for many, many thousands of years. The energies that are coming to the planet, the energies that are balancing on the planet, are trying to bring this imbalance in the sacral back into balance. In your sexual energy, in your creative energy, in your vulnerability, the energy here where you feel safe in being vulnerable, that has been very manipulated, very abused, very messed with over the course of many, many, many years. Many women at this time are feeling an imbalance in their sacral, and in fact, many have felt an imbalance in their sacral for the majority of their adult lives as women. You are feeling them stronger now. You might feel uncomfortable because the energies are working with you in such a way where these things are trying to be brought back into balance. However, if you have wounds, traumas that are unhealed in this chakra, it is difficult for the balance to happen. It is as if there are walls up against the energies that are trying to come together. If you recognize any traumas, any past wounding, emotional wounding, physical wounding that has happened in this area of your body, I would ask for you to do a chakra cleanse, a healing, however you like to do your healing and clearing of the chakras. I would advise you to do that. I can send you some energy now for this, but there are things in your sacral that you need to clear out because the energies truly do want to work with you. They are working on your behalf. It is just that there are a few energetic blocks there that you need to release. Let me send you some energy now to loosen these knots And if you would call in your team, call in the angels to you now, intend to release these things over the night. Ask them to work with you in the night, in the astral. You will find that you can release these things well. It is not that you have to go through trauma and pain and crying to release these things. At this point in time, in what is going on the earth right now, simply your intention is enough. Simply say, please have me work on this in the astral, in my dream state. Have them work with me. Have them help me release this from my physical body. You do not have to go through turmoil or toil to do this. Make it a strong intention and know that it will be released. You will feel lighter by the time the eclipse comes. Should you do this work, but it is not so much work, it is just this diligence in intention and this diligence in faith in knowing that you can be healed. Is this helpful?
Give her a moment to respond.
I continue to send her energy.
Yes. Yes, and it also seems like our lag between the live and us is quite a long period in between. So
I see. It is fine. It gives me more time to send the energy.
But Jen, is there something that you would like clarification on with what Ross spoke of, or is there anything more that you would like to ask regarding these issues?
She should feel already a loosening or a releasing or some relief in this area now. As I am tapping into the energy, seeing those who are working with her, the energy is freeing up, becoming able to flow better. The energies that are wanting to come in are now able to come in a bit better and do their work in loosening the denser energies. The energy that is coming from the earth, the energy that is coming from the universe is doing so much to help with these things that it just takes a bit of loosening sometimes. And those energies, they just have to come in and do their magic. There's nothing more that you have to do in some cases. It is already beginning to work.
She said that she is currently just very upset and crying. So she may be feeling.
That is all right. That is all right. There is nothing wrong with feeling upset. There is nothing wrong with crying, Jen. There is nothing wrong in this moment. You are releasing pain that no longer serves you. The tears want to come up. The upsetness, the frustration wants to come up because your body, your heart want to release it. It wants to release the sadness. It wants to release the despair. It is difficult to go through this process when you see crying as a negative thing, when you see feeling upset as a negative thing. Please try to reframe how you see yourself in this moment. You are in a sacred act of cleansing. You are honoring your body. Put no judgment on the crying, on the upsetness. Simply let it flow. Simply hold yourself. Hold yourself. You are healing. You are healing right now. This is a sacred act. Your body is going through a sacred process. Love it like this. Know this to be what is happening. It is all right. There is nothing wrong, nothing to judge. Only love the things that are coming up. Only love the parts of you that are coming up right now. And you will feel whole and at peace so much more quickly. Allow yourself to rest, my dear. Untense yourself. Allow it to flow. It is all right. Is she all right?
Are you okay, Jen? She says she understands.
All right. I will send some to her. The angels are coming to her to give her comfort. Please tell her to receive their love. Please receive their love.
And I think the biggest portion is to allow this healing, this cleansing, and to not hold anything against what was there, the energies that were stuck, but to love and to release it.
Yeah.
Because you have grown from it. And I think sometimes this is the downfall of what keeps these stuck energies in, is that we have such a hard time loving them, giving them love, and allowing them to be released.
Beautifully said, my daughter. It is true. All humans struggle with this. It is easy for me to say from where I am, to love the pain that you are going through. But you are correct. You are correct. And it is not a process that any human goes through. It is not an understanding that any human comes to without difficulty first, because you are not taught to love what hurts you. You are not taught to love the parts of yourself that were in pain. You are taught to shove them down, that they do not belong, that they are uncomfortable. We are here to teach you that they are not that they are as you say they are, my daughter. Thank you for your wisdom.
Yes, thank you. All right, it looks like we have a question from Neva. She says, question for Ra. Could you please give advice on how to deal with feeling pressure regarding all the things we feel we need to change or implement in our lives when we are at the beginning of our awakening?
The things you need to change or implement in the life at the beginning of the awakening.
And how to best deal with feeling all the pressure. I think what she's saying is that when you realize that it's time for a change and you look ahead and you see all of these aspects of yourself that could use some love and change to happen, how do you not get overwhelmed? Where do you start? How do you work with feeling the pressure of all of these?
Pressure is, in its essence, resistance. You feel pressure, you are feeling a resistance. You feel pressure to do things. You feel like there are so many paths, if I'm understanding correctly, that you may go down when you are at the beginning of something. The appropriate thing to do when you encounter pressure, when you encounter resistance, though it may be counterintuitive, is to surrender. Tell this pressure, you have no power over me. There is nothing that I need to do. There is nothing that I need to be. People at the beginning of certain journeys often feel like there is something at the end of the road that they need to be. They need to be a certain person. They need to have accomplished, learned, mastered certain things by the time they get to the end of that road. And they whip themselves the whole way down the road, thinking that that is what lies at the end. But those of you who have gone through a more elongated process of awakening know that what you learn along the way is that the best thing that you can do is let go. Of course, you do not feel that at the beginning. Let go of the pressure. If you are telling yourself, or if anyone is telling you that you need to do a certain thing, that you need to be a certain way, that you need to master certain things, you can tell those people to go to hell. All you need to do is allow what is for you to flow to you. If you feel the pressure, let it be. Surrender to it. When you push up against it, it creates more pressure. Say, I feel the pressure now, but I am not going to act against it. I am not going to play its game. I am not going to push back on this resistance. I am not going to feed into this pressure. Allow it to go through you. And what comes after it will be a spark of inspiration. You will read a page of a book. Something will come on the TV. You will see something that you read online that will spark something in you, that will lead you down a path, and you will follow that path like a rabbit. But do not think it comes from anything that you feel the need to do. It will come to you. But if you are allowing all of these external energies, these pressures, these resistances to act upon you, the things that want to flow to you cannot come. They will be blocked. Surrender. surrender, and I promise, quickly after the surrender, you will find a spark of inspiration, which will lead you to the next one, which will lead you to the next one, which will lead you in a much more beautiful, enjoyable, peaceful, self-exploratory, fun way than thinking that you have to do anything. Is that an appropriate answer to this question?
It is. I would like to add that after I was rereading your question, I can see how we had just talked about phrasing questions in a specific way. Not that this was phrased wrong. It was not phrased wrong. I just noticed within it, when you say the things we feel we need to change, so we as a collective, that means that you are feeling outside pressure to be something, to achieve all of these things as you are waking up, because somebody before you said this is what you have to do. You have to change your diet, you have to do breath work, you have to do meditation practice, you have to do shadow work. And so when you see yourself trying to fit into that waking up box of what the collective is doing, or what specific people from the collective are doing and telling you needs to happen, that's where the problem is. Building off what Father said, the problem can be solved when you take all of that out of the equation and you sit with yourself and you say, what do I feel like I am going to work towards today? And if you feel like you are going to make better choices today in your food, then you make better choices in your food. Tomorrow, you may feel like you would like to attempt to meditate. So this is how you navigate through the feelings of being stuck in not knowing where to start with this awakening. The basis that you are already asking the question of knowing that you are on the path of awakening. Had you not been on that path of awakening, you would not have asked the question. So therefore, you are already doing something towards your path. Don't make it what everybody else says it has to be. Your light cannot grow in the way it needs to grow if you make it what everybody else says it needs to be. Make it your own. Temple and Maggie have made it their own. They have embraced it in a unique way that only they could understand and travel the path. So therefore, it wasn't something that they said, this month I am going to work on meditation, and then this month I'm going to work on eating healthier. It is something that they feel. If they feel they want to eat blueberries, they eat blueberries. If they feel they want to eat meat, they eat meat. It is different for everybody. The process is different for everybody. My wish for you is to allow you a larger vantage point to look at where you were when you asked that question versus where you are now. The realization that you now see the bigger picture, so you are better able to do something for you, not for everybody else. And this beautifully ties in to our episodes of self-worth.
That it does. Beautifully said.
Thank you. Who channeled that? Let me just see if they'll give me a name. I heard Hathor. Hathor
I believe
that.
it was
So
Hathor. I would like to add upon your very well made point that I did not make. The feeling. Follow your heart. Follow your own intuition. Follow what excites you. If everyone around you is telling you that blueberries are bad to eat, but you're excited about blueberries, you love blueberries, they make you feel amazing, then by God, you eat the blueberries. It doesn't matter what anyone else around you says. If something makes you feel a happiness in your heart sings to do it, this is what you must follow. Thank you, daughter, for adding this in. This is the critical point. Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for your wisdom and putting me on the path so I could see the bigger picture.
You give me too much credit.
It is a co-collaboration, my Father.
There you go.
Are there any other questions that you guys have for Rob? I'm just going to page through this and see if we can. I'm going to ask a question.
Yes, my daughter.
Do you have any thoughts on your personal ideology of the difference between the divine feminine and the divine masculine and the way of bringing in self-worth that you can speak about? And if not, that is fine. I just thought I would ask, seeing our topic today is divine feminine.
I am not an expert in the feminine. I am here to lift the feminine up at this point in your history. It is one of my prime directives to lift the feminine up. But I do not have a great understanding of her in the way that the great mothers of this place do. In my understanding, it is this. As a masculine, I find a great worth in being the fire that I am, in spreading the fire, in speaking loudly with my voice and having influence. This gives me, as a masculine, a strong masculine, a very masculine, a great amount of worth. This feeds that within me. When it comes to the feminine, I know this on your planet. The feminine is taught that when they speak and they spread their fire how I do and their voices have influence, they should feel a similar worth to men. If a man can do it, then I can do it, and I can feel the same way that he feels, and I can stand up to him in this way by doing the same thing that he does. Absolutely, you can do that, and absolutely you can do anything as well as any masculine can, and vice versa. However, most feminines will not find the same worthiness in those actions, or not find worthiness in the same way, a more fulfilled way that the masculine does. It will not fulfill them in the same way. It will not fill the void inside of them. There is something in the feeling, a feeling of satisfaction within the self, a feeling of safety within the self, a feeling of being comfortable in the sensual nature that is the woman, that makes her whole in self-worth. She must be comfortable in her feeling. She must be confident in her feeling. She must be at home in her feeling. She must feel good about herself here, inside the body. There is no amount of outside action for the feminine energy that can make up for that. And that, in my opinion, is what is missing on the earth. Not just in the feminine collective, but the feminine energy itself. There is feminine within everything. It is this feeling that has been so suppressed. And it is difficult for me to speak to the feminine self-worth, because that true energy has not been fully expressed on the planet, at least not to an extent that is more than a small fraction, for a long time. The full energy of that is something that is still being rediscovered and unearthed as the feminine rises again. It may mean something very different than what I believe it means now, because that energy has yet to come back into its fullness. I'm sorry I do not have a more cohesive answer. Perhaps I am not the best person to ask.
I think that was beautiful. This is something that I have been thinking about as well, where we have come to, and this is my personal opinion only, we have come to define what the divine feminine is in the feminist movement. And while some of those were important because we should be equal, so like the vote and things like that, I feel like perhaps what I'm learning about the divine feminine energy is that the real concept of what makes up this divine feminine energy has been lost or gone, or for so long that it's been the masculine energy has sort of infiltrated what our ideas are of this feminine energy. And once we're able to understand the energies that, let me just rephrase this. Once we're able to fully conceptualize the divine feminine energies that were once lost or that were gone, we're going to have kind of a new idea of what the divine feminine is, where in modern feminism, many women feel that they have to be in a man's world. And I think for many of us, we feel this. I've had so many experiences with having to act like a man, be a man in the world in order to raise up in jobs, or just to be able to assert a power where I wouldn't be messed with when I was working in college and in the factory. And this idea of a woman pulling from the divine masculine energy to become equal to the masculine is not quite, I think, what the real feminine energy is. And I don't understand it yet, but I think that's kind of where I am now in the understanding of what the real divine feminine is versus our modern ideology of what the divine feminine energy means.
Your thoughts are wise, my daughter. It is true. So much of what the feminine energy is or means or holds has been described in a masculine way. It has taken on masculine attributes, even the definition of what the feminine is, because the true feminine has been suppressed for so long. She is not what you expect her to be. She will not be what you expect her to be. She will come through in a different way than they have said. And that is all that I can say about it right now, because she is so vast and she is so reemerging that even I do not know how she will show herself when she is back at the height of her power.
Thank you so much, Father. That is so thought-provoking and interesting as we go along on our journey and as we're learning more. And I like the idea of all of us learning together. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your thoughts with us on this topic.
It is my pleasure, my daughters. I hope I have been able to be helpful. I am not a divine feminine, but it is my pleasure to be here with you tonight in support of her. I love you all dearly. I am Ra.
Thank you, Father.
Was that good?
Yes, he had some very good Ra-isms tonight. And I have to get better at like writing them down, but every time, so which for you guys who are watching, because Maggie and I talk to Ra a lot, his personality is such that he makes really interesting comparisons. And sometimes the choice words that he uses, we just call them Ra-isms. Like one day he was talking about how you can channel, it doesn't matter if you're old MacDonald who had a farm. And we just thought that was so funny. So he has what we call raisms, and he said a couple of them tonight, something about where he just gets really
Fired up.
really intense and fiery. And I always love it though when he comes through. And if you're interested in those like raw isms on Instagram, I'm trying to get more of the raw isms up. But some of them we probably won't put up, like the Ronald McDonald one, because this is a very serious topic. But maybe someday we'll write them down and we'll share them with you guys, because I think it would help you better understand like how, as a being, as we are all beings, there's many facets to personalities. And so, you know, he is very much down to business, and he is very stern, especially when you need to be learning something, if you know, but he is very loving, and he can be very goofy and stuff like that. So Jen says, I am thanking all that are and have been with me, sending me healing and assisting me to release what I am aware of, as well as what I am not aware of. That's a really good affirmation for you. And
Beautiful.
And it's beautiful that we can help you in those energies. And I think as we progress together, we learn to better understand energies and how they affect the body, how they can heal the body, and to learn what some of these energies feel like. What does self-worth feel like? You know, what does it feel like when you have self-worth? What does it feel like when you don't have self-worth? This is all energy stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
And it's very much, you know, we're talking about this stuff, but I'm experiencing a lot of these energies for the first time myself, as we're, you know, together tonight. A lot of these things are concepts and energies I'm still trying to wrap my head around in so many ways, and things that I don't really understand how to master yet. So it's been really interesting for me to even go through this evening, because I had a lot of questions that are now answered a bit better just through the conversation that we're having and through what you guys are bringing up. So it really is has been a wonderful journey for me too, just this evening.
yes, definitely. Hathor, Hathor was showing me in our case. So for those of you who are familiar with the channel, I collect a lot of things, a lot of ancient things, a lot of antique things. And we have like museum cases kind of around the house. And in one of the museum cases, I have a cistern. Do you know what that is, Maggie?
No.
Yeah, this is like random stuff that we don't talk about. But a cistern is like a divine feminine musical instrument of ancient Egypt. I mean, they were used in other places too, but it's like a rattle, and it's got like symbols on it, and you rattle it as you're doing like toning. And I've never actually attempted to like put myself in a meditation to go back to a timeline where I could view like them toning with the cisterns and stuff like that. But they were musical instruments that were used in Egypt. I've never seen a man handle one. I've only seen women handle them, so I don't know if there's like a divine feminine connection. I know a lot of them have Hathor on them. And she's like, you'll be able to get the cistern, and we'll be able to do toning. She's got this all planned.
That's so exciting.
So remind me like when we get together and we're like, oh, we should like see what we can come up with the toning, and remind me to get that. So otherwise she'll be like, you forgot your cistern. So all right. I think we're at 113 minutes. I think we are about at the time for closing. So I feel like today, unless there's any other questions, or Maggie, how do you feel? Otherwise, I feel like I want to do a blessing, and then we can maybe connect and close with some light language, but I feel like the blessing and light language will be different. I don't know.
So you want to do a blessing, and then we will do the closing connection and blessings?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds great.
All right. So Boskuto teata ka at uskuto dia poskutia na katia loksukuto to kia patiata ska dakala usukuto to na kiata skala ashaka puto skuno na hashaka te apo oloto maskatia shokoto poshukota na yaskata naliato moskoto. My blessing for you tonight is that all of you, wherever you are located, wherever in this moment you are now on your path, that you have the tools now to start seeing and feeling yourself in a greater way. May the blessings of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, the Divine Mother, the Divine Father, greet you all on your paths and embrace you in comfort and peace as you become comfortable with asking for help, asking for guidance, asking to know yourselves better, asking to feel yourselves more. May the peace of love encompass you and be your directional compass for your path ahead. For much is riding on your ability to know yourself, to feel yourself, and to love yourself, and to send that out to the world, to love others, to be the type of person that you want to be the change in this planet that you want to be. You are all beautiful, my children. You are all blessed, and you are all growing in many, many ways that you may not be able to see or be able to know, but you must trust and you must believe that you are greater. You are divine. You are the way showers of love, the way showers of feelings, the way showers of how to allow your heart to grow, to become as large as it once was. You are those that will show by doing. I love you all, my children. Many blessings and much love. Yes.
That was beautiful.
Should we just connect our energies real quick as we go out, and we'll do, you want to do a little bit of light language?
Yeah, I'll do like really short.
Yeah.
Manaha lahanaha, lahana si alahana, muhuluhata, wahala de alla koto, lohota mahalaka sati, uruhala, molokutu lokataya pusuleahana. Hana sakata layanaha, pulukusuleahala tilia lakasati, husiasa siana me akata akasakata, pulahana, kusukasa pasakata. Namaste.
Namaste. Masata lahana. Lahala. Namaste.